In the sprawl of humanity's history, few names strike as much terror and awe as the Sardaukar, the elite military forces of the Padishah Emperor Shaddam. I have delved into ancient archives and eyewitness accounts to present a tale that weaves through our galactic society. So please sit and listen closely. These elite warriors hail from Salusa Secundus, the third planet in the Gamma-Waping star system. Once a lush paradise, it became a penal colony after a catastrophic nuclear fallout. This transformation created a world where only the strongest and most ruthless could survive, setting the stage for the birth of the galaxy's most formidable military force. Salusa Secundus, with its hostile environment ranging from scorching deserts to treacherous swamps, became the perfect breeding ground for the Sardaukar. The planet's extreme conditions necessitated an unparalleled survival instinct, forging inhabitants into warriors of exceptional strength and resilience. The Emperor, recognizing the potential of these hardened survivors, established the Sardaukar training grounds here, turning despair and death into the crucible of imperial might. The Sardaukar were more than just soldiers. They embodied the Empire's power. From a young age, the selected candidates were subjected to a brutal regime that tested their limits. The training was not merely about physical strength, but also about instilling unbreakable loyalty to the Emperor. The survivors of this grueling process emerged as Sardaukar, elite troops famed for their martial skills, strategic acumen, and unbending will. Records suggest that the Sardaukar were first formed during the Butlerian Jihad. Their initial role was to protect the imperial family and maintain stability within the newly established human empire. However, their unmatched skills quickly turned them into the spearhead of the imperial military might, enforcing the emperor's will across the cosmos. Under the Corrinos, the Sardaukar became the ultimate imperial authority and power symbol. Their influence extended beyond the battlefield, playing crucial roles in political machinations and suppressing dissent within the empire. They were not just troops, they were the emperor's hand, executing his commands ruthlessly. As the Sardaukar's reputation grew, so did the tales of their mercilessness and martial prowess. Their ability to strike fear into enemies' hearts was unparalleled, making them a key asset in the Imperium's political and military strategy. They became the legends whispered across worlds, the shadow of the Emperor's wrath always looming over those who dared challenge the imperial throne. The Sardaukar training regime, known for its brutality and efficiency, was a closely guarded secret of the Imperium. On the hellish landscapes of Salusa Secundus, young boys, often no older than 6, were thrust into a world where only the strongest, brightest, and most ruthless survived. During this young age, trial by combat was common. Children were taught the art of knife fighting. Sparring matches, which often resulted in bloodshed, were used to develop reflexes, techniques, and timing. This training also acted as a way to eliminate individuals susceptible to infections. It was a comprehensive program designed to break down the individual and rebuild them as a component of the Empire's most feared military machine. The regimen began with the harshest environmental conditioning, exposing recruits to the planet's deadliest elements. They learned to survive in extreme heat and cold, to navigate treacherous terrains, and to harness their environment's lethality as a weapon. Tribal priorities led to the prohibition of fights to the death among adults. While killing the unfit at a young age benefited the tribe, losing the best or second-best soldiers through such fights would have been detrimental. Psychological conditioning was equally rigorous. Recruits were stripped of their previous identities and taught to suppress any semblance of fear or doubt. They underwent mental and emotional manipulation to ensure their loyalty and belief in the Emperor's supremacy. Through constant indoctrination, these individuals were crafted into warriors who viewed the Emperor with godlike reverence, willing to execute his orders without hesitation or moral quandary. Combat training was where the Sardaukar truly distinguished themselves. They were masters of multiple forms of warfare, including hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, and advanced weaponry. Their techniques were honed in live combat exercises, often lethal, against fellow trainees or the dangerous fauna of Salusa secundus. Such trials ensured that only the most capable and cunning would survive to serve in the Sardaukar ranks. The Sardaukar's ethos was built on a foundation of superiority and invincibility. They were taught they were the apex of martial prowess, above all other military forces in the universe. This belief was reinforced by their success rate in quelling rebellions and winning battles for the Empire, further mystifying their image across the galaxy. The Sardau faced grueling training and hardships, leading to a high mortality rate, with many children not reaching the age of 12. Among their survival tests, each child faced rigorous assessments twice a year, between the ages of 8 and 12, as part of their preparation. In a harsh tradition, young Sardau children were abandoned in the wilderness during extreme seasons without a set time limit or rescue. Males faced the most challenging survival test at Skull Reach during their first year after puberty, with over 90% successfully returning, demonstrating their resilience. The Sardaukar were known for their exceptional combat abilities and versatile arsenal. Their proficiency with both traditional and advanced combat techniques, combined with their adaptability on the battlefield, made them a formidable force. They relied primarily on melee weapons for combat, especially the kinjal, a double-edged dagger that served both as a tool and a symbol of status. Their extensive training in close-quarters combat, combined with martial arts and environmental awareness, granted them a strategic advantage. Furthermore, they were proficient in various traditional weapons, such as swords and half-shields. In terms of ranged weaponry, the Sardaukar were equally adept. They utilized laser guns, projectile weapons, and even poison-tipped darts, demonstrating a versatility that made them unpredictable and formidable opponents. Their training allowed them to seamlessly switch between different weapon types, adapting to the demands of the battlefield with fluid precision. They used a strategic and multifaceted approach to war, relying on psychological warfare to weaken their enemies before the battle began. Their reputation alone was often enough to cause unrest among opposing forces, a tactic they exploited effectively. Tactically, surprise attacks and rapid assaults were preferred, striking with overwhelming force at unexpected moments. Their operations were characterized by stealth, speed, and precision, aiming to disrupt and dismantle enemy forces before they could mount an effective defense. The harsh conditions of Salusa secundus, much like the Fremen on Dune, deeply influenced their military strategies. The Sardaukar used the terrain to their advantage, whether in the open desert, rugged mountains, or dense urban environments. This adaptability made them unpredictable and allowed them to dominate in various combat scenarios. The Sardaukar's reputation as the most fearsome military force in the universe was not merely a product of their combat skills, but also their psychological impact on both foes and allies. Their very name evoked a visceral fear across the galaxy, a testament to their effectiveness in suppressing dissent and maintaining the Emperor's dominion. The fear of the Sardaukar was rooted in their ruthless efficiency and the merciless way in which they quelled rebellion. Their approach to conflict was about winning battles and sending a message of power and inevitability. The Sardaukar left tales of devastation and awe in their wake, tales that were told and retold, growing in legend and cementing their fearsome reputation. Their influence extended beyond the battlefield, shaping the political landscape of the universe. Knowing the Sardaukar's might, planets and systems would think twice before opposing the Emperor's will. This psychological warfare, an unspoken threat of Sardaukar intervention, was a critical tool in the Imperium's arsenal to maintain control over its vast territories. Moreover, the fear they instilled was a double-edged sword. While it ensured compliance and respect for the Emperor's authority, it secretly bred resentment and hatred. Many saw the Sardaukar as symbols of the Corrino dynasty's oppression, leading to undercurrents of rebellion that would eventually contribute to their downfall. The fall of the Sardaukar, like their rise, was a monumental event in the records of history. Their invincibility was shattered on the sands of Arrakis, where the combined forces of House Atreides and the Freemen overcame them. This defeat marked the beginning of the end for the Sardaukar's reign as the supreme military power in the universe. The Sardaukar's demise was not solely due to military defeat. It resulted from their overconfidence and underestimation of their enemies. Their failure to adapt to the changing dynamics of power and warfare, especially against the guerrilla tactics of the Fremen, led to their downfall. Additionally, the internal decay within the Corrino dynasty and the shifting political allegiances further weakened their position. Some argue that the Fremen and Sardaukar were equal, but the Fremen had the advantage that in training and combat they fought with no shields, so their speed and skill always had to be beyond that of regular forces to survive. Despite their fall, the Sardaukar's legacy endures. They left behind a legend, a benchmark of military excellence and imperial power. Their history, tactics, and culture influence cosmic military and political strategies. The Sardaukar story is a cautionary tale of hubris and change, illustrating the cyclical nature of power and empire's inevitable rise and fall. As we conclude, we must accept that the Sardaukar were more than the Emperor's soldiers. They were an integral part of our universe's complex fabric, shaping its history and culture. Their legacy, marked by fear, respect, and eventual downfall, continues to captivate and instruct, remaining a pivotal chapter for millennia. But as all great warriors eventually do, they met their match in the Fremen.